Good afternoon from Redvale RV. My name's Ben and I'm doing this video for the proud new owner of this caravan. How to use your 2005 Lunar Chateau 450. So I'm going to do my best to remember everything. So here's the camper, and before we go have a look at that, I'm going to show you what else this caravan comes with. So, caravan adapter lead, caravan power lead, leg winder handle, motor mover handle. Here's your awnings, and that is your grey water tank there. Also in this bag here is more awnings, and below the seats inside the camper there is more awnings also. Now you'll notice there's an orange lead hanging out the bottom of the caravan here. That is our test lead. So there's your one over there. We need to make sure that all the systems of this caravan are on. So this caravan has a 12 volt system, which is powered by the 130 amp hour deep cycle battery, and also the solar system we've had fitted for you. And it also has a 230 volt system, which plugs in to your caravan lead. When the 230 volts is plugged into the caravan, a battery charger on board automatically turns on and starts charging that battery for you. So before we start on any of the other services this caravan has, I'm just going to show you in behind this locker here. We've got our mains lead plugged in here, and we've got our deep cycle battery here. So we want to plug the power lead into there. Once that power lead's into there, your caravan will come to life. All appliances that are meant to run on 230 volts will now work, and your power points inside the camper van will now work. Before we head on in this front locker here, this is where our water and LPG is. So we've got our LPG bottle here, fresh Warren Fitness running through this braided hose down through this yellow tap, and as long as that bottle's on, LPG is going to flow into the camper. When you replace the bottle, turn that yellow switch off, then turn the bottle off, then unscrew it and replace the bottle and turn them all back on. We want to avoid getting air into the system because it can make turning the appliances on a bit of a pain. So if I zoom out a little bit, we've got this water tank here. This caravan has onboard water. So in here you just put fresh water, you drop the submersible pump into here, and as long as the caravan has 12 volts, when you turn the switch on, it's going to suck water out of this tank and it's going to come out of your taps. Also, before we jump on in, we've got a white plastic cover here. We're just going to remove this. This is the back of the Truma gas hot water system. So this cover needs to be off when we use the hot water cylinder on LPG, because this is where the bad gases come out of. Alright, we're going to head on in. So we've got our LPG on, we've got a fully charged battery, and we've got our mains plugged in. So now everything in the caravan will work as it should. But I'm just going to go through and do a step-by-step tutorial with you. So we step on into the caravan. One thing you will notice, that it's got light switches everywhere. So we'll start with the lighting system. Down here, we've got a switch. One does outside lights, one does the switch above our head. We've also got spotlights. Now, you're in luck, the previous owner has changed these all to LED, so they don't use much power. They've got little switches on them. Another light up there, the switch over there controls that. And there's little spotlights everywhere. These run off the 12 volt system. So if your battery is flat and you're not plugged into mains, these will not work. All right, underneath the seat here in the front corner, there is a red switch tucked up there. If we turn that red switch off, it isolates the battery. So if you're not using the caravan for a long period, and you don't want your battery to go flat, you simply turn that red switch off. All right, that is now the lighting system covered. The only other item that runs on 12 volts in this camper is the water pump. The water pump will simply work when you turn the switch on, and as long as there's water in that front tank, you get water. If the water pump doesn't work and your lights don't work, you've got a flat battery. I'd also like to point out that the previous owners have made an amazing how to use this caravan booklet. I've never seen anything quite like it, how in depth they've gone. Before we leave the paperwork, that's our service history, that we've just done a service on the caravan, and that's the latest warrant of fitness, which is all passed. All right, so we've done water and we've done lighting. So now we'll get on to our LPG hob. Now this is a gas hob. As long as your LPG bottle is full and the yellow tap in the front locker is on, these will ignite by pushing, turning and igniting what hob you need, just like a gas barbecue. While we're in the kitchen area, you'll notice down below us we've got a fridge and an oven. We'll go over to the oven. The oven's easy. This is a gas only oven. We open that up, we turn the knob, we push, turn, and at the same time we hit the igniter, and you'll get a nice blue flame along the top of there. You keep that held in for about 10 seconds, then you release it, and the LPG flame will stay on, and then you can cook yourself a nice dinner. Over to our fridge. So the fridge is easy to use. We've got 3 modes to use it on. We've got the red switch here, which is 12 volt car battery. So if you're towing this caravan around with your car, you flick that on and the fridge will cool down. The next one in, if I turn that on, you notice the light illuminates. That is running on 230 volts because we're plugged into the mains, and this is the temperature sensor for it. So now the fridge will take about half an hour and it will start cooling down on the 230 volts, so our mains power. If we want to run this fridge on LPG, we turn the mains off. We use these, there's a push knob there. So that is the off position. We push it in, hold it up there, hold it for 10 seconds. Sorry, I need to open the fridge for this. You hold that in for 10 seconds, and then we're going to hit the igniter button here and look down the back of the fridge there, and there'll be a tiny blue flame in that eyeglass down there. It's a little bit hard to see with the camera. Once that blue flame is lit, you're going to carry on holding in this knob up here, and you're going to release it after about 10 seconds, and you make sure that blue flame stays on. Then you know the fridge is running on LPG. If we turn it around to the right with the 2 arrows lined up, that is the off position. All right, so that is the kitchen covered. Then we're going to swing around to our heating system. This has an LPG heater. We got our controllers here, so you got your igniter, your temperature gauge, and your sight glass. You're going to look down there on a 45-degree angle. And once we've got the flame going, you'll see a tiny blue flame in there. But I'm going to show you how to do it first. It's a little bit hard to do with one hand. So we turn this around to our desired heat setting. We'll say 7. Push and hold that for 5 to 10 seconds. Then we're going to hit the igniter. And then we're going to look in there. I can't do it with one hand, but you look in there and then you'll have a blue flame in there. It's on a 45 degree down. It's quite hard to see. Then once you see the flame, you can release that and your heater will stay running on LPG. All right, now the only other appliance I haven't gone over is the hot water cylinder. Now that's tucked under this seat here. Now if you will remember, we've taken that white cover off on the outside of the camper. That's out this window here. We've taken that off because we need to let the bad gases out. It's out on the ground there because our hot water cylinder is underneath this couch here. We've got this switch here that says water heater. If you want to run your water heater on mains, you simply turn that on. You've got to make sure we've got water in the hot water cylinder. That's simple enough to do. You just run the hot tap until there's no air in it. Now we've got that light on. That'll take about 20 minutes and you'll have hot water. If you do not have mains, we can't use the 230 volt. We have to run it on LPG, which is this controller here. Now, we have to make sure that this window here is closed before we run the heater on LPG, because there's a little safety switch on this window here. So we're going to close this window, and then, so I'm going to have to use 2 hands to get that. And then we come down here and we can turn this on. We set that, and we're going to make sure, and then we set our temperature here, say 60 or 65 degrees. We're going to make sure the little green light stays on that. If that green light stays on and we've got that window closed and we've got the cover off on the outside, you will get nice hot LPG. If a red light comes up on that, that means that the hot water cylinder didn't start. You need to turn it off, wait a couple of seconds, turn it on again until the light stays green. When the light stays green, you'll have nice, warm, gas heated water. All right, now onto the bed. So you can have a double bed at the front. This table here simply lifts up and disconnects from the wall there. This leg here, there's that little black switch there. You flick that and this leg folds up. That whole tabletop comes down, sits in there. You use those squabs to make a bed. In the rear, it's exactly the same. We've got another one of these tables. We're going to flick that little leg there, remove this from the wall, put that down in the center there, and we're going to sleep across there. Underneath these cushions there, there's extra squabs tucked into that side there, and there's all sorts. Now all the windows are fitted with fly screens and blackout blinds. Remember, this caravan is a 2005, so some of the blinds might have little holes in them, but these keep the light out, and they're also thermally insulated as well, so very good for cold weather. And also behind them, you've got fly screens. Now you notice when I pull these down, these are spring loaded, so if I don't follow that up with my hands, this thing will disappear real quick and you can damage your blind. So you always just want to be careful with them. We're pulling it towards me on the way down. When we get to the bottom, we push it away and it locks in these little corner bits here. To release it, we push down, pull away, and up it comes. All right, now I believe I've covered off everything. Bathroom. How could I forget? So we have a cassette toilet here and our faucet here. Now this can also be used as a shower head. If we pull that out, you've got a shower head as well. Hot, cold water. Over here to your toilet. So we simply lift it up. We've got a black lid there that separates the tank from in here. So if we turn this lever here, that opens up and your waste can fall into the tank below. There's also a flush button here. By pushing that, flushing the loo. Now this, when you finish using it, you must make sure you close that lid or the smell from that tank will come into this area here. Now there is a light switch here on the wall there for that light there. All right. I'm just trying to think, in the back of this cupboard, is there a switchboard? Yes, okay, so in the back of here, this is your 238 RCD switchboard. So if I flick that, that's turning the 230 volts off. Turn that, 230 volts is on. So before we leave this cupboard here, tucked up here is our solar system. Also with 2 USB chargers, so you can charge your phone and things off that. You can see that the sun is hitting the panel and charging that battery, which is lovely. Okay, now before traveling, it is imperative that all windows are completely closed. You can't travel like this. If you want to tow this caravan on the road, you must make sure that every latch is in the most closed position, or you'll lose a window on the way. All right, I hope I've remembered everything. Thank you so much for watching.